Hey guys, how's it going? The Terminator here. Today, I'm covering the new beta released by the dev team at Divide Et Impera. This was just released a couple days ago on the 8th of January, and there's some pretty cool changes, some minor, some more major. And yeah, I thought I'd just run through some of these changes with you uh as they pertain to the kind of Roman faction, and kind of generally to the game as well. I hope you enjoy the video, guys. It's going to be a short one today, covering the beta only and what's changed in the game and the mod. But yeah, if you enjoy it, if you find it informative, definitely like and subscribe to the video, guys. And you know, if you want to see more content in the future as well, I'd really appreciate it. I'm grateful for any of your comments below as well. So drop your thoughts below. So yeah. The beta got released a couple days ago. There's some nice changes to it. If you are currently playing and you want to download it, I've dropped a link below in the description as well, to the web page. Some pretty interesting changes. Some nice kind of realistic, historically kind of accurate ones as well. So yeah, we'll run through some of them here now. Generally, you know, they've done a lot of kind of changes to the battle units, and added some new units as well. We've got some new units added to the Egyptian, Macedonian, Scythian, Pontic, Bactrian, and Spartan unit rosters, which is really cool. Always good to see some new units added to mods. So I really appreciate the dev team doing some more work there. And I'm going to be exploring some of these factions again. I mean, I played them before, but you know, again for you guys later on as well. So that should be really cool. They've got a new spear cavalry charge animation, which should be fun. I'll be having a look at that later in my gameplay as well. Some other kind of stat changes in terms of like melee damage for cavalry have increased. Some more specific ones as well to certain units. So for example, the Sword of Thoracatai units are a bit more kind of offensive based, so they've been overhauled. Lowered some stats on the War Dogs for the Romans, which should be interesting. I haven't played with them yet, but we'll have a look later in my current campaign. And yes, some others in terms of specific units as well. If you're playing an Arverni campaign, for example, right now, or a Pontic campaign, some of the stats have been buffed up, and the appearance for some of these units have changed as well. So hopefully you'll notice that in your gameplay also. An interesting change in this beta, which is beta 1.2.7, by the way, if I hadn't already mentioned that, is if you are one of the Belgian factions, or Belgium in particular, their cultures have changed a little bit to be more representative of their historical heritage. Some more buildings have been added, so you can now have, as kind of per parallel to the dual culture characteristic of the faction, you can have new temples that provide you both Celtic and Germanic cultures to go with that, which is really cool. Should be super interesting when I get around to playing that faction. They've also added some new unique units to the tier 5 kind of common forum buildings, which should be interesting. Some new also unique Massilia tier 5 temple buildings as well, which should be interesting. They're over here right now. I've just basically started a new campaign just to provide a bit of visual while I go through this. But yeah, that should be really cool as well. I really like Massilia as a faction. They're really powerful early on in the game. They have some really nice kind of Mediterranean, Roman, and Greekan kind of units as well. So that should be a really interesting campaign when I get to it. And then, yeah, there have been some other kind of temple changes as well for some of the other factions, but I won't run through all of them here today. So, yeah, and then there's some other kind of UI changes as well, which I'll run through with you right now. So, if we go into our city panel here right now, you'll notice that it's changed a little bit. The population figure here is now on the right instead of being on the left. and it's generally just been a bit restructured so that the so that the like growth points are shown a bit more accurately. They're a bit more kind of vanilla version as well, which is nicer. I think the older version was good, but this just gives us a bit more of a more cleaner view of how growth is going in the province and in the city. We've got some updated buttons as well. So in terms of supply and population summaries, region supplies, the region population here, that this has changed as well. So it's just a bit, everything is basically just a bit cleaner, in my opinion, which is really nice. It makes it just all that more, kind of last version in terms of the mod being kind of cleaner, if you know what I mean. But yeah, they've done some like general kind of look and feel changes to the buttons themselves, the capital change button, things like that, which is really nice to see as well. I think the older versions were just a bit more grainy, so that's really good. So what else? We've got a nice kind of link to the DEI website here on the game menu as well. So if you go into the menu, there's this little button here now that takes you straight to the website, which is always good. If you're starting a new campaign, if you're starting DEI for the first time, and you're not sure what's going on, you can literally just click this button and it will go to the website, and you can look through like the latest beta patches to see what's changed. You can get an overall view of what the mod is all about, how it's different to vanilla, which is, like, for me, it was really, really helpful when I first started DEI. I think I mentioned this in my first video as well. I played Rome maybe 2 or 3 times just to get a hang of the the new population system, the general kind of supply route system as well. What's kind of different versus vanilla. As GG pointed out in that in his comments in my first couple of videos, there are very minor things that you might not notice at first, such as the field of Mars that comes kind of as default in this province in Latium. So it's just little things like that you can pick up on. Shout out to GG for pointing that out to me, by the way. That really help you get started in DEI. So yeah, apart from that, we also have some of the minor changes and fixes to the gameplay as a whole. We get increased positivity diplomacy from marriages. So yeah, if you go into your diplomacy here and Araday, how are you? But not pass the day in words without merit. Okay, cool. Thanks, dude. Thanks. You can try and marry off someone to a faction, as I'm sure you know. And I mean, I think this makes sense. If you're gonna marry off your daughter to get some better relations with a faction, which I'll probably do. In my current campaign, I might marry off someone to Egypt. If I want to have a solid ally in the Middle East, or to one of the Spanish factions when I get around to taking Spain. I might marry off one of my relations to have an ally in the region that will support me and buff me up when I'm at war with some of the more major ones in the region. So yeah, that's a good one to have. Definitely an increased positivity effect there. There are a lot of specific other faction related major changes and fixes here as well for the Gate, the Lusitani in Spain. They have some new they've moved some of the infantry units to tier 3. Another cool thing here that I think makes a lot of sense is the province here south of Italy, or southern Italy, has been renamed to Magna Graecia, which is cool. I think that's really nice as well. I think previously it was Italia, which didn't really make sense to me. So yeah, that's really nice too. Some of the other region names have been changed as well throughout the game to be more historically accurate. we can't quite see it here, but yeah, if you haven't noticed, like if you want to absolutely download the beta and check it out for yourself, definitely go for it. But that's one of the changes to look out for when you do that. What else do we have here? Yeah, there's a lot of other kind of minor changes to kind of faction units, and some of the buildings as well. Recruitment templates have changed a little bit. Some of the faction names have been changed as well. So the Mauryan Empire is now named the Maurya Samrajya, which I guess should be a bit more historically accurate there as well. Some kind of like fixes as well in terms of like Hellenic barracks having the wrong kind of pop effect there. The two Massilian units had some wrong kind of stats. There were some wrong animations for some cavalry for the Dardanian faction. So yeah, there are some nice changes here and there in terms of fixing some of the things that were noticeable for particular units as well. Apart from that, there are also some major changes. So I'll just go through these as well. The Gate reform requirements originally included battles with nomadic factions or Roman factions. Originally required you to fight just Rome, essentially. But now it involves, fighting other nomadic factions as well, which is cool. It means you're not kind of limited there to just fighting Rome. For the AI, especially, there's been a bit of impact in terms of auto-resolving their battles between themselves, so the impact, and us as well, but for them, this is especially impactful because they only do auto-resolve, obviously, when they battle each other. So the impact of missile units has been changed. It's been lowered, and it's been lowered so that the ammo used and the maximum kills has been decreased, essentially, which is interesting. I think probably makes sense if missile units were a bit OP in the game, which they definitely are. It means an auto resolve that has a less impact, which is good. What else do we have here? Some of the starting positions in Empire Divided, the expansion there has been changed. It means that, if you're going to play as Palmyra, or some of the other factions around it, it'll fix some of the crash issues there, which is good. The Arverni are now able to subjugate other nations, which is good. I think I played Arverni a couple times in Divide, and it's definitely something that's missing. They were known historically to kind of expand and create a larger nation in the area. So being able to subjugate others nearby is they're kind of like the Agamemnon of the region in terms of if you played Troy and you played as Agamemnon, you know what he's about. That's what they were kind of about in the era, in terms of countering Rome's invasion of the region. What else here? So the devs have added some experience bonus for AI generals, which is interesting. It means that, depending on how large the AI faction is, the Imperium level of the faction will impact how much bonus AI generals get. So if you're fighting a larger nation, for example, like Egypt, the generals that you fight are more likely to get more experience out of their battles compared to smaller nations, which is good. I think it totally makes sense. If you're fighting a big country like Egypt down south, or even now with Carthage, where I'm about to get it to in my campaign, it means I'm up against a bigger fight, which is nice. It's good to get more of a challenge out of your gameplay and your campaigns. I often find that, Total War's biggest flaw is that there isn't much of a challenge. Even with hard or legendary mode, you can get away with making massive armies and just steamrolling factions without having a lot of defensive action from them. You get the classic massive stacks of armies that congregate and then attack you for no reason sometimes, but AI is definitely lacking in Total Wars, and this is something that is an example of how DEI really helps with the gameplay and the campaign mode. So yeah, apart from that, I think generally the beta will provide as you can see, and what I've kind of told you, a bit more in terms of content, context to the game, your kind of enjoyment of various aspects of it, whether it's, you know, the cleanliness of the UI, or the kind of I guess updated stats of various units, the usability of some buildings versus others. So yeah, it's a very good beta in my opinion. I think, you know, the dev team are definitely devoted to making it the best it can be. So I'm grateful for that. I think DEI is fantastic. It's, you know, one of the best rated mods for Rome 2. So it's really good. That's pretty much it, guys. If you've enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe to see more. You know, I'm a big, massive Total War fan, and an even bigger fan of DEI. I really, really enjoy it. You know, I do enjoy Vanilla Rome, but DEI just elevates it to new, fantastic levels. If you are going to download the beta, guys, go to the website and download the pack. You just have to move it to your data folder in Rome. And that's it for today. Yeah, I really hope you enjoy it. I hope you find it informative. Drop your thoughts and comments below in the comment section. And I'll see you for my next episode of our Roman campaign, coming out in a couple days. Thanks, guys. Have a good day. Have a good weekend.